Good evening, gladiators. We who are about to play drink to you. Well, it's late on a Wednesday evening and I'm relaxing with a beer, and I thought, what better way to spend the evening than playing Final Fight, which is a classic beat 'em up from 1989. Can you believe 30 years ago this game came out? Made by Capcom, who are best known for Street Fighter. But this game was all the rage before Street Fighter. It was probably the granddaddy of the side-scrolling beat-em-up genre, and it's one of the greats. And so I'm looking forward to checking it out and, saving Metro City from the thugs. We may even break a beer bottle over their heads. You never know. All right, let's jump into it. All right, so I'm playing an emulated version of the game because, of course, it is a coin-op or an arcade game. Coin-op being coin-operated, meaning you actually used to put coins in the arcade machines to play these things, which is kind of crazy, huh? All right. So here's the little game introduction. The sound is a bit iffy in this, unfortunately, the sound emulation, because I'm actually playing in a browser, which is still pretty incredible. But the basic setup is a bunch of thugs are holding the city ransom, and they call the mayor up and harass him. Mike Haggar, who's he's not just any mayor, he's a former Street Fighter. So this is set in the 1990s, the distant future when the game was made. So they're trying to blackmail him. They've got his daughter, they've kidnapped her. It's a very 1980s style movie plot. Who is this? So Mike Haggar, he's pretty built for a mayor. He's a big tank. And that's one of the villains. It's a very very cinematic introduction for the for the time. Capcom presents. Now Capcom, as I said, best known for the Street Fighter games, but before that they made Final Fight, and the two series have a lot of tie-ins. A lot of characters from Final Fight have cameos and so on in versions of Street Fighter. You can get like a Haggar outfit for Zangief, and there are a lot of influences. These are the three characters: Guy, Cody, and Haggar. Look at that. Guy even looks like Ryu from Street Fighter. There's a lot of influence there. So we're going to start it off as Guy, but we might change it later. So in these games, they're called side-scrolling beat-em-ups because that's exactly what they are. You move to the right and you beat up enemies, and they come at you in waves. You can break the telephone box, get money. It's classic 80s style punk. You can do all sorts of punches and jump kicks, and always you see enemies coming out of the doorway, and every now and again a big enemy comes out and it's a boss. That guy looks like Sagat from Street Fighter with his eye patch. Or is it actually a cap? Hey, someone's brought a knife. You can use that against them. Now, of course, if you were playing in the arcade, you could play with a friend. It's a pretty short stage, that one. Or was this the first part of the stage? Whoa. If you are prone to epilepsy or something, maybe look away. That was pretty intense. Here we go. Gotta use the bat. Whoa. Greetings, fat bloke. Whoa, they're a bit tough, these fatties. They can be beaten. I want to get that pipe as soon as I can. Yeah, take that. His name is Bill Bull. I love how the characters get sort of little names and so on, or your antagonists, and they're often based on, you know, cartoon, real life, the caricatures of real life individuals, celebrities. Axl, that guy there, based on Axl Rose, I believe, from Guns N' Roses. I could be making that up. So this is one of the first sort of, you know, mini bosses. This massive guy, he must be 9 foot tall. Look at him compared to me. But certainly beatable. He's got an extra health bar. We're down to our last guy, so I might switch to Haggar after this, if I get the option. He's run away to let his thugs do some damage. Continue, yes. Let's try Cody next, and we'll save Haggar for last. Haggar was always my favorite because he was the biggest, even though he actually doesn't control probably quite as well as these two guys. Well, Cody's in for an absolute whooping. He's walked into a street fight, if you will. Now, as always, you really want to be playing this game with a controller. With a keyboard, it's not as easy. Also, I can't remember what all the buttons do. I'm button mashing a little bit here. This guy is absolutely massive, isn't he? Definitely on some kind of juice. And there is a skimpily dressed woman of ill repute, and then some strange sort of ninja guys. The thing I like about this game, and it stuck with me. Well, that Cody didn't last long. Let's give him another go. That stuck with me when I first played this game was just how big the sprites were. Like, I'd come from sort of playing. There we go. Beat him up. Round 1 clear. From playing, you know, Super Nintendo games and Sega games where the sprites were, you know, this big, but this thing's, you know, double the size. Now, if this game seems familiar to you and you hadn't played it, you might have played a game that took a lot of inspiration from it, and that game is Streets of Rage. And that game series from Sega took so many cues from this, including all the subway levels and even the characters and the moves and everything. And that, I believe, Streets of Rage, I think, is the greatest of all the side-scrolling beat-em-up series games, but it owes a great deal to Final Fight. So, speaking of celebrities, do you recognize the guy in the leopard skin print? Now, his name in this game is Andore, but what does that sound like? It's Andore Jr. Andre. It's Andre the Giant, the greatest, I think, the greatest wrestler of all time, greatest pro wrestler, and a fine actor if you've ever seen The Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite movies. Hello, lady. Anybody want a peanut? If you haven't seen it, that will make no sense to you. Right, so we wisely, or somewhat unwisely, decided to catch the subway. And look at this cool scrolling parallax background, and you know, the handles move. Arcade games back then just had such cool attention to detail. They were way better than the consoles of the time. Now, I think Final Fight is a series that really needs reviving. Okay, let's get serious now. Haggar. Mike Haggar. There we go. Look at this guy. He's as big as Andre. His chest is as wide as a barrel. He's a beast. And he can body slam people. Put him in half Nelsons and back slam. This is what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a jacked up version of Freddie Mercury. You can see why he got elected mayor. I'm sure his policies were spot on. Ooh, but Andre's slammed us. Now, actually, Mike Haggar appears in a Capcom fighting game, a wrestling game. I can't remember. It's like called Wrestle Night or something like that. But he's a playable character in that as well as a wrestler. So one of the many little tie-ins between all the Capcom games. And I think he might even be in SNK vs Capcom. Well, I could be mistaken. When's the next stop? How long is this train? So many questions. This might seem far-fetched, but back in the 80s, I read this. In New York, subways were very, very dangerous. And, you know, people say they're a little bit dangerous late at night today, but they were just fully dangerous places. And a lot of New York itself was just full of crime, and you're always going to get mugged and that kind of thing. And games like this and Streets of Rage took a lot of inspiration from that, from the the real life crime stories and the graffiti and poor Haggar. Luckily we've got a limited continues, huh? But they took a lot of inspiration from the New York sort of the 80s, and that it's kind of dangerous to think that New York actually was like that. There were these things. Whoa, I'm getting whomped. There were these guys in the 80s who actually walked around protecting the streets, and they were called Guardian Angels, and they were sort of vigilante gangs that fought on the side of good, and they would walk around protecting people, stopping them getting mugged and attacked, and this is pretty tough. Andore is tough. There we go, we beat him up. Let's get off this train. But yeah, the Guardian Angels, if you're ever interested, you should look them up. It's quite a cool story. Brah. Again, if you have a buddy, these games are so much fun. One of the originals before Final Fight was Double Dragon, and I played that so much as a kid. I've actually even done a playthrough of it here on the Games Gladiator. You can find that earlier in Season 2. I got such fond memories of that. Did you see how we got attacked and we were on fire? The fire actually looked a lot like the fire sprite from when you get yoga fired in Street Fighter. Funny enough, it was actually the rise of Street Fighter that ended the side-scrolling beat-em-up genre, because it proved so popular that from then on, all anybody wanted to play and all the big companies would make were just regular beat-em-ups, two-player. Here we go, Mike's in a wrestling ring. And these things kind of just dwindled in popularity because it's way easy for them to make straight-up fighting games without all the levels and so on. It's a real shame, because I felt like the story and the action of going into different environments and using weapons and stuff like that was just a little bit more fun than Street Fighter is awesome, but once you've seen it a few times, you kind of know everything there is to know about it. This guy's like a samurai in jeans. His name is Sodom. I guess it's a biblical reference. Sodom and Gomorrah, but he looks Japanese, so, or his mask is at least. I love that it's this underground ring that everyone's at, and they allow you to have samurai swords, and really cool detailed sprite work. We can't let Haggar die. We're going to go back to use Guy after this just to mix things up, although Haggar is definitely the more fun to play. Round 2 clear. So there's 5 rounds in this game. We'll probably play another one, see how we go. Ah, look, there you go. Street Fighter. You can tell there's influences. Let's get this bat. Belt the hell out of it. Bam, 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 bam. So you can see when, Ryu and Ken beat up the car and everything. This is where they got it from. But we're not going to have to do it today because I've messed up. Maybe we'll get close. Spent too long in the beginning. Oh no, we got it. It's actually not that hard. All right.
Oh my god.
His poor car. So I've never actually been this far in the game. I played it in the arcades as a kid, but I didn't have that much money, and as you can see, I'm not that good at these games, and so I would have spent dollars and dollars already. Just putting coin in and coin in. This guy looks like sort of an Elvis with his leather jacket, a buffed up Elvis. His name is Slash, so we have an Axel and a Slash. Some Guns N' Roses fans here, obviously. Body slamming them always works. Well, but Ondore, as he's called, is a problem for us. He's done a lot of damage. It's hard to concentrate on just one because you do get slammed. Alright, let's have one more life. Go with Guy, because he might be a bit quicker. Because Haggar is a bit slow. I keep calling him Haggar, he's a bit slow. Guy has a bit of a speed advantage, which can be useful when you've got so many of these fiends around you. Whoa! Tough. Smash open the door into a bar. A very seedy looking bar with barrels of chicken, of course. And a terrorist called El Gato. Wow. I said one more life, but let's get to the end of this level if we can. Be fun. Be rude not to. So what's cool is that you can play these games online in your browser. It's really easy to just Google it. I think I'm playing this on a site called like Retro Arcade or something like that. So there's an Asian version of the fat bloke. It's like a giant sumo whose name is Wong Ho. Couple of knives took him down though. I like that everyone is just oblivious to us though. These guys up at the bar here don't care that, you know, we've been throwing knives and punching on. Ah, no. It's dragging us back. So we've been dragged into another underground fighting area. We're actually up on a roof, not underground, because there's the Moonlight City behind us. We're going to need Haggar again. I'm going to fight two Andres. Where's Hulk Hogan when you need him? So there's G Ondore and F Ondore. So I'm assuming there's an A and a B. I like that they're the color coordination. It's cool. Red and yellow, blue and yellow. They've obviously styled their outfits for the evening. They're tough bastards. They can survive pipes and axes and samurai swords. It's hard when you get trapped in the corner like that, because you just lose a lot of health. Man, I'm just going through credits. Let's try Cody again. We didn't give him much of a chance, did we? In his tight blue jeans. Very 80s look. He's got the mum jeans, the high waist. Hey, good work, Cody. Why open doors when you can punch them? Whoa, we're getting jumped by everybody. There's a Bilbo and an El Gato of Poison is her name. With a fiery hair. Takes a lot of effort to flip those guys. He's the punk again. He's just called Jay. Hey, thought you were dead. Come back here. Time waster. Ah, gosh. This is like the village people cop. He's massive, and he's got a gun. Or does he? Take him on with Haggar again. You know, you play this with a keyboard enough, you start to get sort of RSI. I just discovered there's another button on the keyboard, which is I should have been pressing, which does that. The jump attack. Pretty late in the game for me to discover that. This guy's tough. Oh, now there's the big units as well. Oh yeah, so we just fire the gun at us. It's no fair. Bringing a gun to a knife fight. I'm definitely going to stop after I beat him because my fingers are really sore from doing this kind of bashing away. If we beat him. There are no guarantees. Well, we do have unlimited credits, but still, I'm playing pretty poorly. I love those little continued sequences where, you know, they're threatened to be blown up with dynamite and so on. There's another game, I forgot what it's called, but you have a ninja and there's a circular saw and it's coming down and you're sort of screaming, going, no, 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 no. Wow, we did not last long. He's hard to get to because he goes off screen. Die already. Ah, round 3 clear. Alright, we'll start round 4 and we'll play till I lose. I die. We're in some kind of lava-filled construction site, which is obviously very unsafe. Wow. How do you even avoid that? That's a bit rough. Well, let's watch him blow up. He's trying to blow out the dynamite. Oh, that's very sad. Put our initials in. Game over, man. Yeah, so there you go. That's Final Fight. What do you think? It's definitely one of my, you know, earlier memories of video arcade games included Final Fight, and it was as much fun to play tonight as it was to play back then. It holds up really well. The sprites are great. The influences on later games can't be understated. This is a classic game and you must play it if you haven't. Alright everybody, until next time, bye for now.